A little summary regarding falls and falls risk in the elderly in particular. Now, we all know that falls is something we want to avoid at all ages, but particularly with the elderly, because if we fall, we may end up in hospital, we may end up with a fracture, and if we end up in those scenarios, it is not desirable. We want to stay out of those scenarios. So the study that I'm referencing today was a study about people that had 12 weeks of chiropractic care, and they were looking into the sensory motor integration associated with falls risk. What that actually means is the integration about sensory input or input from your environment and how it gets into your brain and gets translated and gets assessed and gets integrated really, and creates a motor output or a physical body reaction. So that's called sensory motor integration. Now, what they studied over that 12-week period of time, what they looked at was they looked at the ability to use your feet to place them in various positions and the coordination of doing that. They also looked at was something called flash illusion. That's when you are seeing flashes, and it is how your body is interpreting that information in a sensory motor integrated manner. And thirdly, it was ankle joint position sense. So being able to tell where your ankle was in space. And they found that over the course of between a 4 to 12 week period of chiropractic care, those three parameters improved. They weren't able to determine 100%, so how does that translate into falls risk? Does it definitely mean we have less falls risk as a result of chiropractic? That's future research, which hopefully gets done. But it definitely showed a link in those three areas and an improvement in those three areas, which by deduction you may interpret have a connection with your ability to be upright, stable, and therefore less likely to fall. My understanding about how this actually works is that the bones of the spine, when they don't move correctly, when we have dysfunction within the joint structures of the spine, we have less feedback, less stimulation, less stretch going to the prefrontal cortex and the cerebellum, particularly those two areas of the brain. Now, those two areas of the brain are heavily involved in integrating the sensory input, creating a motor output to do with balance and coordination. So when the spine's shut down, doesn't function well, and chiropractic intervention was used, meaning determine where the dysfunction within the joints are, create an input to improve the dysfunction and make that joint segment or those joint segments more functional, we could see the change in those three parameters. Hence, the future research, which I hope comes, will be exciting, where they may be able to actually conclusively determine there is less falls risk. At the moment, it can't be proven, but all the logical steps are there to indicate that it would be something to consider if balance is getting lost, or you feel like you're more likely to trip over, bump into things, fall over. Get your spine checked. That's just my suggestion, because that integration may significantly help you. I hope this summary of research, this science research, which can be a bit complicated to explain, has been useful. Hope you found it interesting. If you have any questions or comments, please do so, and I'll do my best to reply. Thanks for watching.